I'm Simon Blunt, development chef for Ha Ha. Today we're going to cook a fillet of beef with dauphinoise potatoes and a mushroom and stilton topping. But the first thing we're going to do is make the dauphinoise potatoes. So for this we're going to need some Maris Piper potatoes, some garlic, some cheese. For this we're using Gruyere, or you can in fact use some mozzarella and cheddar, some butter, and some milk and cream. So the first thing we're going to do is slice the Maris Piper potatoes nice and thin using a mandolin. Just be careful with your fingers with this, it's very, very sharp. Just nice and thin, slicing the potato, and then this is going to form the base for our dauphinoise potatoes. Now I'm going to take our peeled clove of garlic, and with the back of the knife, just give it a tap, put that into a pan. What we're going to do is we're going to pour the milk and cream into a saucepan. Once it comes to the boil, take it off and leave it on the side. So what you're doing is you're letting the garlic, the cream and the milk infuse together. Then whilst that's coming to the boil, you take a knob of butter and we're just going to rub it around the dish that we're going to make our dauphinoise in. We're then going to start layering our potato in our dish, overlapping the potato. This will take you about 5 to 10 minutes or so. So we're just layering our potato. Just going to lightly season that with a bit of salt and cracked black pepper. And we're going to take our cheese, in this case the Gruyere, and just sprinkle it over the first layer. And then you're just going to keep repeating that until you eventually fill the dish. So we're now going to take our milk and cream and garlic, which has been infusing on the stove, turn that off, and with a ladle I'm going to pour that over just enough to top the potatoes. Finally, the last layer of cheese just sprinkled over the top of the potatoes. We're then going to put that into a preheated oven at about 180 degrees C and cook it for approximately 45 minutes to an hour until the potatoes are soft and the cheese is nice and golden brown on top. So whilst the dauphinoise is cooking, we're now going to concentrate on the mushroom and stilton topping. For this you're going to need some chestnut mushrooms, some button mushrooms and portobello mushrooms, and all we're going to do with these is just slice them. So we're just going to saute these mushrooms off with a little bit of butter, and into that we're going to add a red wine sauce that we've made, and to make this we've sweated off some shallots, we've added a little bit of beef stock and some red wine, we've let that reduce down, then we've sweetened it with a little bit of red currant jelly. You just reduce it so that you get this nice rich sauce. It's got a really good sheen to it. We're then going to add that to the sauteed mushrooms. And then finally we're going to just add a little bit of stilton, and for this we're using Crockwell Bishop. We're now going to cook our fillet steak. Here we've got a 6-ounce British beef fillet steak. We've got a nice hot griddle pan. At the moment we're just going to oil that, season the steak, take our oil, and go to the steak. So we're probably going to cook that to a medium, so roughly about 8 to 12 minutes. So whilst our steak is cooking, we're now going to finish off the mushroom and stilton topping. We're going to put a pan, get that nice and hot, a little bit of olive oil and butter. And we're just going to wait for that butter to froth. Add our mushrooms, soften those mushrooms up. We're just going to turn our steak over. I'm just going to add a little bit more oil to that because the pan's quite dry now. So we're now going to add our beef stew to the mushrooms. And then finally our Crockwell Bishop stilton. And then take that straight off the heat. Finally, the last piece of the garnish is plum tomato. Just going to take half a tomato. Again, just a little bit of salt and pepper. And we're going to grill that in the same pan as our steak. Great, so our steak's ready, so we're now going to plate it all up. So first of all our fillet. Grilled tomato. And now our dauphinoise potatoes. And garnish that up with a little bit of lamb's lettuce, and then finally our mushroom topping. Okay, so there we have our British fillet of beef with the dauphinoise potatoes and the mushroom and stilton topping.